Buying a house can be one of the biggest money traps of your life. If that sounds dramatic, it's because the math actually is. Because here's the real question. Does this apply to my state, my city, where I actually live? So I did the math for all 50 states. The results are clearer than I expected, and honestly, a little brutal. Quick reminder before we start. These are pure numbers, national averages. Treat this like data, not personal advice. Here's the one number that decides whether buying or renting is smarter in any market. It's called the price to rent ratio. You take the median home price and divide it by the median annual rent. The result tells you everything you need to know. Below 15, buying is usually the smarter financial move. Above 20, renting wins. Anything between 15 and 20 is the gray zone where it depends on your personal situation. Right now, the national price to rent ratio sits at 23.2. That means renting is the smarter choice in most of America. Most, not all. Out of 50 states, only 12 have a ratio under 15. That's 12 places where the math says buy. Everywhere else, the math says wait. Quick note before we dive into the states. If you want to actually learn how to manage your money the right way, I built a beginner's course that covers everything. 15 videos, 5 modules, all the workbooks. Check the link in the description to take your first step today. Your future self will thank you. Now, back to the data. Here are the 12 states where buying still beats renting in 2026. Most of them are in the South and the Midwest, and the pattern tells you something important. Number 1, West Virginia. Median home price about $129,000. The cheapest market in the country. Price to rent ratio well under 12. Number 2, Mississippi. Median home price about $158,000. Number 3, Arkansas at $170,000. Number 4, Oklahoma at $180,000. Then come Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Alabama. All of them with median home prices well below the national average and rent prices that make the math work in favor of buying. Rounding out the list, Missouri, Louisiana, and Kansas. 12 states total where the numbers actually support owning over renting. What do these states have in common? Lower home prices, slower price growth over the last 5 years, and rent levels that didn't explode the way they did on the coast. If you live in one of these 12 states and you've been thinking about buying, the math is on your side. But math is just the start. Your job, your savings, your plans matter just as much. And again, these are state averages. Your specific city or neighborhood inside these states might have completely different numbers. A green state can still hide red cities. Now let's flip it. Here are the states where buying is the worst financial decision you can make in 2026. The ones where the math is brutal against you. Number 1, Hawaii. Median home price $849,000. Price to rent ratio over 30. Buying here means paying nearly double what renting costs every month. California. Median home price around $760,000. The state with the second worst price to rent ratio in the country. Buying takes a massive bite out of your income. Washington State at $596,000. Massachusetts at $559,000. Colorado at $560,000. All three with ratios well above 20. New York, Oregon, New Jersey, Maryland, and the District of Columbia round out the worst markets. Most of them are coastal, urban, and have seen the steepest price growth. In these states, the median monthly mortgage is 40 to 60% higher than the median rent. That's not a small gap. That's the difference between thriving and surviving. If you live in one of these states, the data is telling you something clear. The math doesn't favor buying right now. That doesn't mean never. It means not at these prices, not at these rates. But again, this is state-level data. There are specific cities inside California where the math works. There are neighborhoods in New York that make sense. State averages hide local truths. The point is this: if you're in a red state, you have to be extra careful. The default math is against you. You need a really good reason to buy in these markets. So why does the map look like this? Why are the green states clustered in the South and Midwest while the coasts are bleeding red? 3 big reasons. First, population growth. The states with the highest price-to-rent ratios are the ones where everyone wants to move. More demand pushes prices up faster than rent. Second, supply constraints. The coastal states have less land, more zoning rules, slower construction. The Midwest and South can build more homes faster, which keeps prices in check. Third, income concentration. The high-cost states have the highest-paying jobs, so prices get bid up by people who can afford them. That doesn't help you if you're not making $150,000 a year. This map isn't random. It's the result of decades of economic forces, demographic shifts, and policy decisions. And for the next few years, the pattern is unlikely to change much. Which means if you live in a coastal state and you're hoping prices will crash so you can buy, you might be waiting a long time. The math suggests adapting, not waiting. The smart move in expensive states is often to rent and invest the difference. The math we ran in the last video showed that strategy can beat buying by hundreds of thousands of dollars over 30 years. So what does all this mean for you? It means you have a starting point, not an answer. The state map tells you whether you're playing on easy mode or hard mode. But the actual decision still depends on you. How long do you plan to stay in one place? What your income looks like? Whether you have an emergency fund? Whether your job is stable? Remember the 3 conditions from my last video. You need to stay 7 years or more. Your total housing costs must stay under 28% of your gross income. And your emergency fund has to survive the down payment. If you live in a green state and you meet all 3 conditions, buying might genuinely be smart for you. If you live in a red state, you need to meet all 3 conditions and have a really clear reason to buy in spite of the math. The data in this video is one piece of the puzzle. Your job, your family situation, your savings, your debts, your goals. All of that matters more than what's true on average. Use this as a starting point, not as an answer. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you make $75,000 a year and you live in Texas. Texas is borderline on our map, not green, but not deep red either. The median home price in Texas is around $310,000. At $75,000 income, the 28% rule says your total housing should stay under $1,750 per month. But at current rates, a $310,000 Texas home costs you roughly $2,400 per month, including everything. That is 38% of your income. Math says wait, save more, or look smaller. Here's what I want you to take from this. The American housing market in 2026 is not one market. It's 50 markets, and only 12 of them are friendly to buyers. If you live in one of those 12, run the numbers for your specific city. If you live in one of the other 38, ask yourself if you really need to own, or if renting and investing might serve you better. Don't trust national headlines. Don't trust your realtor. Don't trust your parents. Trust the math, run it for your situation, and make the decision that actually works for you. You're not behind, you're not broken. You just need the right map. Now you have it. Here is your 3-step plan. Step 1. Find your state on the map. Green means the math is on your side. Red means the math is against you. That tells you which difficulty level you are playing on. Step 2. Calculate your own 28% number. Take your gross monthly income, multiply by 0.28. That is your maximum housing budget, not your maximum mortgage. Big difference. Step 3. Compare that number to the real monthly cost of a median home in your city. Not just mortgage, property tax, insurance, maintenance, everything. If your 28% covers it, you might be ready. If not, you have your answer. And if you really want to know whether you can afford a $500,000 house or if it will actually leave you broke, then watch this video next.